All right. So, everyone always asks about which programming language is like the best one for AI. And I think this breakdown we have AI language Showdown is really going to help us out here because honestly, this is a choice that like really does have some huge implications for, anyone working on an AI project.
For sure.
We're talking about how fast you can develop stuff.
Yeah.
How efficiently the code runs.
Right.
Even if it can handle, the demands growing later on, as you scale things up.
Definitely.
So it's not just some little tech detail. This is like a strategic decision.
Yeah. And what I find interesting about this source is that it doesn't just give us like a pros and cons list for each language.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about the why behind the choice.
Okay.
What are you actually building?
Right.
Is it a system that has to react in real time?
Okay.
Something like a self-driving car system or a deep learning model that's crunching through, huge data sets.
Right.
Once you've got that, clear picture, then you can start figuring out the best tool for the job.
Right. It's like matching the tool to the task.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's where this source becomes super valuable.
Yeah.
It gives us a rundown of all the contenders, in this AI programming language arena.
It does.
It's almost like a personality test for these languages.
I like that.
Figuring out which one clicks best with your project.
Yeah.
So let's start with the big one, the one everyone's talking about.
Right.
Python.
Yeah, it's popular for a reason, and the source points out that the syntax is just so readable. It's almost like plain English.
Yeah.
If you can imagine, trying to write a complex algorithm for something like image recognition, Python's clear structure just makes the whole process so much smoother.
Okay.
Plus, it's got these powerhouse libraries like TensorFlow and PyTorch.
Right.
These are like pre-built tools that are made specifically for AI.
So it's kind of like beginner friendly and then...
Yeah, you could say that.
It's got all the cool gadgets already installed.
Yeah, it's ready to go.
But I'm guessing no language is perfect, right?
Of course not.
There's got to be some trade-offs.
Yeah, there's always a trade-off.
What are we giving up with Python?
So while Python is great for getting things up and running quickly, it's not always the fastest at actually executing those complex calculations.
Okay.
And it can be a little bit of a memory hog, which might be an issue if you're working with limited resources.
Right.
It's like that saying, jack of all trades, master of none.
Oh, interesting. So maybe not the best choice for something like a self-driving car where every millisecond counts.
Probably not the best fit for that.
Okay, what about Java? I feel like that's everywhere in the software world.
Java is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about stability and scalability.
Okay.
The source really highlights how it's often the go-to for large-scale systems, especially in companies.
Right.
Enterprise settings.
Yeah.
Think about a massive financial institution processing millions of transactions every second. It's something that's rock solid.
Yeah.
Something that can just handle that constant load.
Yeah.
That's where Java shines.
So if Python is like the nimble startup,
right,
Java's like the, steady corporation.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Are there specific libraries in Java that make it good for AI?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Deep Learning 4J is one that they mention here.
Okay.
And it's designed specifically for, handling the massive data sets that are common in AI.
Right.
So you're not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
But Java can be a bit, how do I say this politely, verbose?
Okay.
You might end up writing more code to get things done compared to something like Python.
Got it. So robust and reliable, but maybe not the fastest to work with?
Right.
Okay, now the source also hypes up C++ for AI. What's the story there?
So C++, it's like the Formula One race car of programming languages.
Okay.
If you need raw speed and control over the hardware, C++ is king. Imagine you're building a robot that needs to react, instantly. In real time to its environment.
Right.
C++ is going to be the language for that.
But there's a catch, right?
There's a catch.
What is it?
C++ is not known for being easy to learn.
Right.
It gives you a lot of power, a lot of precision.
Yeah.
But it demands a lot from the developer.
Okay.
It's a steeper learning curve.
Gotcha.
But for certain AI applications, that level of control is just essential.
Right.
The source mentions robotics, and any AI that needs to operate in real time, that's where C++ really shines.
Okay, so we've got Python, versatile, Java, dependable, C++ high performance.
Yeah.
But the source has a whole bunch of other languages for AI on this list.
It does.
What about R? Isn't that more of a data analysis tool?
So R is definitely the stats whiz.
Okay.
It's designed for digging into data, finding patterns, visualizing those insights.
Okay.
Imagine you're a researcher trying to understand, a complex data set.
Yeah.
Like climate data or, financial trends.
Right.
R's got all the tools to help you make sense of it all.
So it's more about understanding the data than building,
Yeah.
intelligent systems.
Well, the lines are starting to blur.
Okay.
R is being used more and more in machine learning.
Interesting.
Think about AI systems that need to analyze huge data sets to make predictions.
Yeah.
R can play a crucial role there.
So it's not just for the data science folks anymore.
Nope.
It's making its way into AI.
It is.
That's cool. What about some of these newer languages I'm hearing buzz about, like Julia?
Julia is really fascinating.
Okay.
It's like they took the best parts of Python, the ease of use,
yeah,
and the best parts of C++, the speed.
Wow.
And combined them.
Okay.
This makes it really appealing for heavy-duty number crunching, which is often needed in cutting-edge AI research.
Right.
The source even hints that it might be the language of the future for AI.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's one to keep an eye on.
A language that's both powerful and approachable, that's a rare combo. Okay, there's a couple more on this list. I'm curious about Haskell and Prolog.
Okay.
What are they known for?
So Haskell is all about precision and reliability.
Okay.
It uses this concept called functional programming,
Mm-hmm.
which helps you write code that's very predictable.
Right.
And less prone to errors.
Okay.
Imagine you're building a system for like financial trading or blockchain technology.
Yeah.
Those fields need absolute accuracy.
Right. A tiny bug could have huge consequences.
Exactly. One tiny bug could cost millions of dollars.
Wow.
So Haskell's really good for that kind of thing.
Okay, so Haskell's like the super reliable one.
Yeah, you could say that.
What about Prolog?
So Prolog is a bit different.
Yeah.
Prolog is the logic master of programming languages.
Okay.
Imagine you're trying to build an AI that needs to reason like a detective.
Mm-hmm.
Following clues, following rules.
Yeah.
That's where Prolog shines.
So it's not just about, crunching numbers. It's about building AI that can think logically.
Right. It's about logic and reasoning.
Are there any real-world examples of how Prolog is being used?
Yeah, it's been used in things like medical diagnosis systems.
Oh, wow.
Where the AI needs to look at a patient's symptoms,
yeah,
their history, and use logic to figure out what's going on.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and the source even mentions this cool feature called backtracking.
What's that?
Where Prolog can essentially rethink its steps.
Oh, wow.
If it hits a dead end.
So it's like the AI is having second thoughts and reassessing.
Exactly. It's like, maybe I went down the wrong path. Let me try a different approach.
That's amazing. Okay, last one I've got on my list here is Scala.
Scala.
What's the deal with that one?
Scala is the big data champion.
Oh, okay.
Think about companies like Google or Facebook.
Right.
Dealing with information at a scale that's almost unimaginable.
Yeah, that's a lot of data.
Scala is designed to handle that kind of volume.
So if I'm building a system that needs to sift through mountains of data,
right,
Scala is the way to go.
It's definitely a top contender. It integrates really well with Apache Spark, which is this powerful framework for distributed data processing.
So yeah, if you're dealing with big data, Scala's worth a serious look.
For sure.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
Python, Java, C++, R, Julia, Haskell, Prolog, Scala.
That's a lot of languages.
It's like a whole United Nations of programming languages for AI.
It is.
How on earth do we choose?
Well, that's where the AI language Showdown really gets helpful.
Okay.
It provides us with a framework for making this decision.
Okay.
And it all starts by asking yourself the right questions about your project.
Okay, hit me with those questions. I'm ready to put my project to the test.
All right, let's do it. The first question to ask is, what are you actually trying to achieve with this AI project?
Yeah.
Are you building a real-time system, like a self-driving car navigation system?
Yeah.
Or a complex deep learning model?
Right.
Maybe for medical image analysis or something totally different.
Okay.
Each of those has different performance requirements, and they're going to benefit from different features in the language.
So it's kind of like choosing the right vehicle for a journey.
It is.
Like a sports car if you need speed.
Right.
A truck if you're hauling a bunch of stuff.
Exactly.
A minivan for the family road trip.
Yeah, it's all about picking the right tool for the job.
Once you've got a clear picture of where you're going,
right,
then you can start thinking about how to get there.
Exactly. The second question is, what kind of libraries or tools are really essential for your project?
Okay.
Do you need the kind of deep learning capabilities of like TensorFlow or PyTorch?
Right.
Or maybe the statistical power of R and all its data analysis packages?
Yeah, it's like making sure you have the right equipment before you set off on an adventure.
Exactly. You wouldn't climb Mount Everest with just a swimsuit and a beach umbrella.
That's a good point.
You need specialized tools for a successful climb.
Yeah.
Just like you need specialized libraries for a successful AI project.
Okay. So we've got our goal, we've got our toolkit all figured out.
Right. What's the next question on this, language choosing quest?
Next up is performance.
Okay.
How much does speed actually matter for your project?
Right.
Does it need to react in milliseconds?
Yeah.
Or is it more important that you can develop things quickly?
Right.
This is where understanding the trade-offs between languages like Python and C++ becomes really crucial.
Okay.
Python might get you going fast.
Yeah.
But C++ might give you that edge and efficiency when you really need it.
It's like choosing between the hare and the tortoise, right?
It is.
Sometimes slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need that burst of speed.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not just about how fast the code runs.
Right.
It's about how quickly you could actually develop and iterate on your code.
Yeah. Make changes, experiment.
Exactly.
Yep.
Python's readability and concise syntax can make that development process much faster.
Okay.
Compared to a language like C++.
Got it. So it's a balancing act, speed versus development time.
Ease of use versus raw power.
Exactly.
What else do we need to think about?
Scalability is a big one.
Okay.
Will your project need to handle more data or more users as it grows?
Right.
Choosing a language that can scale gracefully is crucial for long-term success.
Okay.
Languages like Java and Scala are known for their ability to handle massive amounts of data and users.
So we need to think about whether our little AI project's going to stay a bonsai tree or grow into a giant redwood.
Exactly. You don't want to plant a redwood seed in a tiny pot.
Right. Got to give it room to grow.
You got to give it room to grow. And finally, don't forget about your team.
Oh, right. The people.
Yeah. What languages are they already comfortable with?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more efficient to go with a language your team already knows, even if it's not the absolute best choice in theory.
Right. The best tool is often the one you know how to use.
Exactly. And it can also impact team morale if everyone's struggling to learn something completely new.
Yeah, for sure. Nobody wants to be stuck learning a whole new language.
It's all about finding that balance.
Right.
Between the ideal language and what your team's actually capable of.
So it's not just a technical decision, it's a human decision too.
Exactly. It's about people and technology working together.
Now remember those languages the source told us to avoid.
Oh, yeah.
PHP, Ruby, Visual Basic.
Yeah, well, what about them?
It's not that they're bad languages, right?
No, not at all.
It's just that they might not have what it takes to build serious AI applications.
Exactly. It's like trying to build a skyscraper with popsicle sticks.
What?
It's just not the right tool for the job.
But what's really interesting to me is that the source ends on this question.
Oh, yeah?
About the future of AI languages. Right. It says Python is dominant now, but what could come next?
That's a great question.
Like, imagine a language that combines the speed of C++ with the ease of use of Python.
Right.
But with even more features we haven't even thought of yet.
Yeah. What if there's a language being developed right now in some lab or startup that's going to completely change how we build AI?
It's exciting to think about.
It is. It really highlights how dynamic this field is.
Yeah, it's like we're standing on the edge of a new frontier.
Right.
And we have no idea what's out there.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
This AI language showdown isn't just about picking the right tool for today.
Right.
It's about being prepared for tomorrow.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the one to create that next language.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Imagine creating the tool that unlocks a whole new era of AI.
It's so cool to think about the possibilities.
It is. It's a really exciting time to be involved in this field.
Absolutely. And as we kind of start wrapping up this deep dive, I want to bring it back to our listener.
Right.
What are some key takeaways they can use
to
navigate this AI language landscape?
Well, first and foremost, remember there is no one perfect language.
Right.
It's all about understanding your project's needs.
Yeah.
And picking the language that aligns best with those needs.
Yeah. So think about your goals. The libraries. You're going to need the performance, how much you need it to scale.
Right.
And even what your team already knows.
Exactly. It's like putting together a team of superheroes. Yeah. You wouldn't send a team of super speedsters to a mission that needs invisibility or super strength.
Gotta have the right powers for the job.
Exactly. And just like a superhero team, the AI landscape is always changing.
That's true.
New languages are coming out. Existing languages are evolving.
Right.
The needs of AI projects are changing too.
So how do we stay ahead of the curve?
You have to embrace this mindset of continuous learning.
Okay.
Keep exploring new languages, experiment with different tools, and and stay informed about what's happening in the AI community.
Yeah, what's cutting edge today might be old news tomorrow.
Exactly.
It's like being a lifelong student, right?
It is.
Always eager to learn new things and grow your knowledge.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe that next big breakthrough in AI languages will come from someone listening to us right now.
Yeah, that would be so cool to think about.
It would.
It really feels like we're just scratching the surface here. You know, this AI language showdown has given us a good starting point.
It has.
But it's also left me with so many more questions.
I think that's the sign of a really good deep dive.
Yeah.
It's not about giving you all the answers, right?
Right.
It's about sparking that curiosity.
Yeah, making you want to learn more.
Exactly.
So to wrap things up, let's bring it back to our listener.
Okay.
What are some key takeaways they can use to navigate this crazy AI language landscape?
Well, the most important thing to remember is that there's no one right answer.
Right.
There's no magic language that's perfect for every project. It's about figuring out what your project needs and then choosing the language that fits those needs the best.
So think about your goals, right?
Yeah.
The libraries you're going to use, how important speed is, how big you need it to get.
Right.
And what your team already knows how to use.
Exactly. It's like assembling a team of superheroes.
Oh, I like this analogy.
Right. You wouldn't send a team of super speedsters to a mission that needs invisibility.
Yeah.
Or super strength.
You got to pick the right powers for the job.
Exactly. And the thing is, just like a superhero team, the AI landscape is constantly evolving.
That's true.
New languages are coming out. Old languages are changing.
Right.
And the types of AI projects we're working on are changing too.
So how do we stay ahead of the curve with all this change?
The key is to embrace continuous learning. You got to keep exploring new languages.
Yeah.
Experiment with different tools.
Okay.
And just stay informed about what's happening in the AI community.
Yeah. Because what's considered cutting edge today could be old news tomorrow.
Exactly.
It's like being a lifelong student, right?
Yeah. Always be learning. Always be growing.
Always curious.
Exactly.
And who knows, maybe the next big AI language breakthrough will come from one of our listeners.
I hope so.
That would be amazing.
It would be.
Now, the source said that Python is the most popular language for AI right now.
Right. What could make it less popular in the future?
That's a good question.
Could it be that the way we use AI changes?
Yeah, maybe the problems we're trying to solve will shift.
Right.
And another language will be better suited for those problems.
Okay. Or maybe some new language will come along.
Yeah.
That combines the best of everything.
That would be cool.
It just shows you that the future of AI is still being written.
It is.
And we all have a chance to be a part of that.
We do. It's an exciting time to be in this field.
It really is. So to everyone listening, whether you're building the next big AI system or just starting to explore this stuff, remember that choosing the language is just the first step.
It is.
Stay curious, keep learning, and you never know what amazing things you might create.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI programming languages.
It's been fun.
We hope you've enjoyed it, and we can't wait to see what incredible AI innovations you bring to life.
To the future.
To the future.
Yeah.